Good morning. Well, I've had a little drive today, about an hour, and I've come to Dover. Maybe about an hour and a quarter to get here, something like that, because I want to explore the Western Heights. It's an area I've looked at and seen videos on and so on, but never been myself. So I've parked up in a free car park. Wow, free! And we're up on the cliffs overlooking Dover Harbour, basically. I don't know whether this is a film because it's really bright. No, I don't think it shows it. I'll go to the edge and take a photo in a minute. I've got a rough plan of what I want to do. I want to have a look at an area called the Grand Shaft, and then have a look around the Napoleonic forts. See what we can discover. Things to see already. There's the car park. And we're straight into some of the fortifications. I don't know a lot about this. I know most of it's Napoleonic. Construction sort of 18 to 1820-ish. So never been, not really done much research. So this is all going to be a bit of a surprise for me. Let's keep wandering. Right. Might as well start with the very first door, I suppose. See what we can see. Looks like it could be munitions storage. Ah, yeah, I've just spotted what's at the top here. A mount for a big gun. So this must be one of the coastal batteries. And although, you know, looking at it, this bit is much later. A lot of this area was Napoleonic, but of course it was repurposed in, you know, later dates, especially World War II, for defence, because this is absolute front line. I don't know, it's just too bloody bright really. I can see with the naked eye, but looking straight across there, I can see the French coast. It's, I think, 21 miles. So the Germans got pretty close. Just stepping out to the front here. Over on the sort of eastern cliff, as it would be, eastern side of Dover. Of course, there's Dover Castle. Very famous. It's where all the tourists go. Not so many people come here. So hopefully it's going to be quieter around here. Right, I'll drop back down through there and keep wandering. Just quickly before I move on from this spot, I just noticed over there, I don't know if you can make that out, a gated off set of tunnels, but it's locked up tight as a drum. There's no going in there, but I'd love to know what's under that hillside. This area is absolutely riddled with tunnels. That's the original entrance to the Western Heights. It's sort of three forts in a chain that are sort of linked up. We are sort of roughly in the middle now. I'll be coming back to this one. I want to start in the east, the well-known one, and work west. But that's the entrance. In fact, there's a sign there. I'll take a photograph of that so it's a bit easier to sort of orientate it. Right, I'm basically parked the other side of those trees, and sort of behind this tall tree in the middle, directly behind it would be that battery I visited the first time. there's the harbour, and coming around here is the entrance to what most people call Western Heights. It's actually the easterlymost fort. But then there's a little hole like this going in through. Can't walk past that. I think I'll have an explore through here first. Oh bugger, it's low. Oh, blimey. Creeping along. I'm not built for little tunnels. And there we are. The first fort. I'll have a wander around that way and I can show you where the original entrance was. Right, apologies for the sun. The original entrance is up there. Big drop down in. Quite well thought out really. Let me turn that way rather than look into the sun. So anybody attacking would have to come over that wall, drop down into this ditch, and then you've got the high wall on the right if you want to get into the place. Meanwhile, you've got these bits been built onto the side, caponniers I think they're called, which of course be laying a lot of fire straight through this ditch while you're trying to cross it. So yeah, quite well thought out. On the floor here, these strips were for a bridge across that main entrance, and it would have gone sort of 2/3 of the way across solid, and the last bit would have been a bit like a drawbridge, so it could be pulled up in times of attack. But yeah, quite well thought out. I'm going to keep wandering around that way. This place really is huge. I knew it was fairly large when I looked at it on the mapping, but yeah, it covers a fair old area. What an undertaking to dig and build this out. Must have been quite something. Especially back in those times where they didn't have the technology and machinery of today. Although they did quite a good job because it's still standing. Another thing that I found out recently, it's a bit dark there, hang on, that's better. Another thing I found out quite recently, of course this is basically protecting Dover and the doorway to England, as it were. And they reused this in the Second World War, and they actually had a load of Marines stationed here apparently. If there was an invasion, they were going to be sort of like left behind as a saboteur force to harass the German invaders. Don't know how true that is, but makes sense to me. Well, I've dropped down into this bit of shade for a sit down. Whew. I've only walked around the outside of the first fort, but it's full sun, no shade. The forecast for later today is 28-29 degrees. It's just before sort of lunch now, and I think the car said it was about 25 when I left there. It's hot, it's really hot, so it's going to take 5, get a drink, and then move on to the next fort. Although they are all sort of one defence, I'm going to move forward into the less known, less visited ones, shall we say. Right, it's a bit bright, I know. I've just come, that's made it worse. I've just come from that way, walking the connecting path. Should go into the next one up through there somewhere. Don't know quite what to expect, so I've never been here, don't know the area, so it's a voyage of discovery. Right, North Bastion. This would have been main entrance. And there we have the access to the inner part of the fort. How tempting does that look to walk across there? Sorely, sorely tempted. The only issue is, A, I'm alone if something went wrong, and B, I have an issue with heights. not a good combination really. I've walked around outside and see how much the temptation pulls at me. But at the moment I'm thinking, no. Well, I've made it down into the ditch. Oh, bloody hell. If I look at that wall, that'll give you an idea of the height of that crappy, rusted iron bridge. So, as tempting as it was, I'm quite glad I didn't go that way. I'll go round the ditch, see what else I can see. As you can see, the condition of this one compared with the first one, not as popular to say the least. Although interestingly, that wall there is the outer bank, yet there's firing positions in it, so that outer bank is hollow. There is tunnels behind there. Be worth keeping my eyes open. That's the width of the ditch, and that's the sort of like the fort wall this side. So yeah, might have to investigate in there if possible. Don't know yet. I'll keep wandering round. Looks interesting though. And what have I just spied out the corner of my eye? A hole. Why would people make a hole in that wall? Does it lead somewhere? Well, there's the hole. The other side, just a dead end, which is rather curious. So why would they bother making a hole? Very interesting. Oh, this side's still got the bridge in place. And you see it's got the drawbridge bit still there as well, with its counterweights. Yeah, I mean, there's got to be access into something in that outer wall. Because again, if I look around that way, you see in the background there, there's firing slits from the outer wall looking at the ditch. And also, it looks with a bit of effort, there's access into the fort there. I'll continue my walk around outside and I might come back to that. Can I just mention at this point, urban exploring can be dangerous. Whenever you're going places where you shouldn't be, especially where there's a bit of climbing and so on involved. Yeah, you've got to be careful. That's why I'm being careful today. Not taking any big risks. Being on my own. If I did something silly here, there's very little phone signal. I'm on my own. And this one's, not visited as much. So the chance of a walker coming past to come to your rescue is pretty slim too. Not trying to be a killjoy. Just, yeah, if you're going to go exploring, probably best not to be on your own. Tell someone where you're going and have a backup plan. Oh, excuse the heavy breathing. I mean, that was a bit of a climb, and I'm not even sure how I'm getting back out. But the draw was too much. Right, let's have a wander. Right, now it's starting to make sense. And, oh, excuse me, out of breath. Climbing up this section was actually a waste of time. That's the entrance. The first one I looked at, coming across here. The one I debated crossing and thought, no, don't be stupid, because it is quite a drop. You come into this zigzag bit, excuse the sun, it's Sorry about that. Around here, to the second bridge that's got, I'm going to try and get out the sun, that's got the drawbridge at the end of it. So the fort is that bit. What I'm on now is essentially like a big island in the moat area. I wish I'd known that before I climbed up here. Bugger. Okay, time to try and explore that side then. I think I'll have to get down to ground level and sort of try and go around the outside, although there's not an obvious way to do it. So, got to get back down there. Bugger, we shan't come up here now. Here we go again. Someone's gone to a lot of work to move that concrete there to climb up. Does that mean it's worth it? I guess we'll find out in a second. This is a weird place. That's the outer wall. That's sort of the island bit which I climbed up on and wasted my time. I now know that back wall is the main fort running along here. So if I follow this well-worn path, it looks like it goes around the outside of it. Voyage of discovery. Right, after walking around the outside, come to here. This is one of the places currently used to access it. Now, as much as I'm sorely tempted, that hole is small. Could I get through it? I don't quite show properly on the camera. There's metal plates there. That's only, what, about 14, 15 inches across, 45 centimetres. Yes, I could squeeze through there, just sort of on the diagonal. But I'm not sure how big the drop is the other side. I think it's about the same as this side. On the outside here, there's something to step up on. Don't know on the inside. On my own? No. I was with someone else. Yeah, I'll give it a go. Shame really. If it was a bit simpler, or maybe, you know, if the hole was down low that I could sort of crawl in and out, I'd give it a go. But it's hard to explain from the inside. If that hole is chest high, you've got to jump up and launch yourself head first through it, and my shoulders won't fit through there. It's a case of sort of slowly easing your way through. This side, you've got wall to lay on. The other side, straight drop. Not my own. No, I'm not doing it, which is a bit disappointing, and probably disappoints you as well. Sorry about that. But I'll continue to wander around. Who knows? I might find somewhere a bit easier. Look how the council have bricked up all the nice easy ones. Spoil sports. Never mind. I'll keep walking around. I'm enjoying the walk and looking, if nothing else. Would dearly love to be inside, but as I say, on my own, I'm just not taking on any undue risks. I mean, nobody knows I was here, which was stupid. I really should have left the map, etc. for Kate the mouse. So if I didn't come home, she'd know where I am. But just didn't really, I didn't think about it at the time, to be perfectly fair. Never mind. Well, I'm not too much sure how much further I'm going to go. It's getting bloody hot. I'm already halfway through my water and food. And to be honest, I'm getting a bit knackered. It's no fun being ill, you know that. Interesting little spot here though. I'll spin the camera and show you around. massive high outer wall. I don't know if you can see on camera, but I can still see brickwork up there, up that bit where that better sunlight is, right down here. That's got to be, what, 20 metres? Bloody massive. That's the way I came up. I'm following this outside wall. I don't know quite why they built this bit like this. It's obviously had some strategic reason. You can see the little holes for shooting through there. That was obviously a way in at one time. And that's how big the fort is, looking up there. That's brickwork all up there. The footpath does continue up round that way. I don't know how much further I'm going to go though. I am knackered. Well, that's it for coming round here. Next bit you'd have to climb that. It's obviously doesn't show very well on film. It is almost vertical. Someone's put a thin piece of wire on the left to sort of hang on to climb. But I've just had enough. I haven't got the energy left. So I'm going to head back that way and try and find the way that I climbed down in. It's around the other side somewhere. Oh Christ, here we go. Right, the first fort I started at was over that way. The one I've just been into is in there, would you believe? Oh, it's a bit bright, hang on. That outer bank is sort of like the outer part of its defences. And if I go over that hill, not that I want to because it's too bloody hot, is the third one. But to be honest, I'm not even going to bother going to that one. And the reason for that is it's still in use. It's now the detention centre for illegal immigrants crossing the channel. So there's, you know, not a lot to see over there apart from modern buildings. I'll just step out this way. Because we're still up on the bank. That's looking north over Dover. The train tracks are sort of down there. There is actually a tunnel network in there as well. Not that I've been, I've seen it online. But it's too hot and I'm too knackered and I've still got a fair walk back. So I'm off that way. It's a bit of a crappy old site map, but I parked here and I was going to go down here to the grand shaft staircase, but it's just too bloody hot to go all the way down there and back up again. Essentially it's a shaft down through this cliff with 3 sets of spiral staircases so the troops could get from, you know, the fort to the beach quickly. I continued on. That was the first fort. I walked up round. That was the second fort up there, and the third one is up here, which is now just called the Citadel, and it's, like I said, basically still in use. So that's as much as I can do today. Knackered. Thank God for aircon. I don't know whether that's focused or not. 31 degrees. Shit. Whew. Right, back in the car. And I'm a sweaty mess. I'm sure you wanted to know that. There is so much more I could have taken a look at. But I'm just knackered. Maybe come back in the late autumn when it's cooled down some. It's just too much in this weather. It really is. Back to the car. Crank the aircon up. Cool off a little bit. Bloody hell. yeah, a bit nice having a walk round. Plenty to see. Little bit disappointed that there wasn't any easy access. I suppose there's never going to be, is there? Certainly nothing that I would do on my own. Maybe another time with others, give it a go, but not today. But yeah, so that was my wander around Western Heights. Just something a bit different. I'm going to have something to eat now, finish my water, cool off a bit, and then bugger off. Thanks for watching.